what are you thinking about feelingly? Because that's the self pushed out into the world of experiencing. You're always thinking ahead of your evidence. What are you thinking?
Good point. I'm glad that you brought the self pushed out. We talked about this previously. Again, like I said, we love to complicate things, but you stated just now, and as I listened to Neville and meditated upon his speaking also of the self pushed out, you stated it, thinking ahead of your evidence.
Yes.
Thinking is the self being pushed out. So whatever it is that we're giving our attention to, that's the self being pushed out. So even if we encounter a rude person at a restaurant, for example, what attention do we give to that rude person? Do we give them the attention of, why are they doing this to me? Or do we say, listen, that's their mess, and I'm not going to own it. I'm going to go on about my business and do what it is that I've been ordained to do.
You got it. That's it. You see, the thing of it is that we're nosy. I put it any other way, but we find that we're nosy. We're involved in other people's problems, and then you're sorry you ever got involved most of the time. So why get involved? Look, you are your business. You're in business, and you are your business. If you're minding your business, well, then you ain't bothered with what's going on out in the environment, because that's going to be going on regardless of whether you're thinking about it or not. But what you are thinking about is what you'll be involved in, because, as I say, you're always thinking ahead of your evidence. So you're in control even if you're out of control, right?
Absolutely. You made me think about something, going back to the restaurant scenario. If you deal with a rude customer, one of the things that you can do is send out love and peace and blessing to them. And I'm not saying that you verbalize it, but you send that energy towards that person. And, of course, you're going to be the recipient of sending out that love, because, of course, love returns back to you. And it may not be from the person who was rude. It could be somebody else watching how you handle the situation. And I've done it myself. I see people in the restaurant maybe treating the waiter or waitress bad, but I see a calm demeanor, and I compliment them. And if they're my waiter or my waitress, I make sure that my tip reflects that. So the blessing may not come from the source that you think that it's going to come from. Do you agree?
Well, absolutely. As a matter of fact, how the things that you want are going to come to you are not your business. It's not. No, that's God's word. Jesus told you very plainly, I of myself can do nothing. It's the Father within who does all the work. So if you're taking on the work, well, okay, He'll let you take on the work. If you're not handling it well, then you ain't gonna be, you're not going to be happy with you handling it. So let go and let God. And you say that, and it just kind of rolls away. But, letting go, sitting down in the silence, because, as I say, that's where the magic is. That's where you do all the transfers. You see, you transfer what you don't want out, and you take what you do want in, and you think from it, not of it. Thinking of it is a confession you don't have it, and so your prayer's answered, and you still don't have it.
Absolutely. The prayer is still answered. Even in not having, your prayers are answered.
That's it. It's every word is taken into culmination to make up your life. Every word. And that's in the talking to yourself or talking outwardly. Usually those two are quite different.
It's true. And as you've stated in the past, and as we've discussed, whether the words good, bad, or indifferent, all of those are taken into consideration to shape your world.
Yeah, that's it. That's the self pushed out. All your thinking and feeling is pushed out. So you're walking through a self-created world. That's it.
A virtual reality.
A virtual reality, out of the mind of man. Everything's out of the mind of man. I mean, I can sit right here in my office. There's thousands of items. All of them had to first be imagined. And everybody has an imagination. I know they tell me, oh, I have no imagination. Well, then you wouldn't be here. It's simple as that. You're using it, but how are you using it? To imagine what? Lovely and a good report, hopefully. But we know better.
Even as those words rolled off of your tongue, my mind said, how many people fail to choose lovely and of a good report? And it's many of us, and some of us really, we've gotten so conditioned by society, by family, by upbringing, whatever.
But one thing,
mm-hmm.
that doesn't stop you, you see. We all have those problems, but that still won't stop you from change your mind, change your world. It won't stop you from making those decisions, but you do have to make those decisions. And you can't get around, because if you're not choosing, you get chosen for it. Yeah. And I can tell you from private interviews that most of everybody's complaint is that somebody else is choosing for them. I mean, that's probably, I would say, the number one complaint. So right there is actually it's its own answer. I mean, doesn't that answer it?
It does. You made me think about, you talked about your interviews, and it also made me think about a book out there. A nurse had set in on many people who were dying, and one of the 5 complaints that they had was they wished that they had made better choices or made choices pertaining to their own life and not given that power over to someone else.
I can't imagine anybody doesn't think that.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, we all got stuff unfinished and everything. So, but you see, that's the beauty of this, because
exactly
you there's nothing transforming in death. So whatever you're doing now, right up to the moment you're passing, whatever you believe, that goes with you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so heaven is chosen. See, you have to choose it. You're told to bring heaven on earth, well, but you have to choose to do so. And if you're not in that mind of choosing that to do so, well, then lighten up. I mean, you're told you're the light of the world. Lighten up. I mean, I hope that people understand it when we're laughing all the time to each other here, that we're actually experiencing what we're talking about.
Exactly.
And trying to share it with someone else at the same time.
That's the thing about humor. A comedian, the thing that makes a comedian funniest is when he tells you a story and you identify with that story. That's what we're doing. When we're talking about these principles and we're talking about the shortcomings of people, we're laughing at our own shortcomings because we know that we've botched this thing called life up ourselves. But we've been given something. And our goal, Lindell and I were talking on a personal note. We were talking the other day, and he said, DeCarlo, what is it that you see yourself doing with this work, to paraphrase? And I said, Lindell, my heart's desire is to share these principles globally, with the world and get other people to get what it is that we're talking about. So I know that we are brothers in this. We're in a spirit of agreement with this. Our goal is to get these truths out to you so that you can choose this day and become active participants in this thing called life and begin globally creating the world, the life that we desire, one by one. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yes. That's it. That's actually it. As you think you are. I keep repeating that over and over because It's right. It's right there. It's right where you are. You're thinking, feelingly all the time. But about what? Because if you don't want to experience it, then stop thinking it. Because if you don't, you will. That's what worry is. Worry is the opposite of faith. And people sit around all the time worrying about this and worrying, and all they're doing is promoting more of them to worry about. Because, again, all things produce after their own kind. And if that's the kind you're producing to yourself, suggesting to yourself, because everything is a suggestion to yourself. And as you're impressed, you express. So you're in charge. Wake up and take charge. You think that'll do it?
I think so, and I just want to go back because we said it a couple of times. As you're impressed, you express self-pushed out.
You got to be careful because it's subtly that you're impressed sometimes. So subtly, you may not really realize that you're being impressed. So you got to watch that too.
Absolutely. I was just sitting there as you were speaking about that. What kind of flowed through my mind is, the conversations that we have with friends, the gossip, the TV shows, the negativity, and unfortunately, especially in today's environment, we get more of that than we do of the good stuff. So one of the things that Lindell and I desire to do, even in our conversations with you, is to make sure, whether it be on YouTube, our Facebook group, whatever, is that we're giving you something that is lovely and a good report.
And all you have to do is think of lovely and a good report. You see, actually, God left the message so simple that we couldn't miss it. But we did miss it and have missed it and are still missing it totally.
Absolutely.
But the thing of it is, even a little more awake is really beneficial. You'll find it's beneficial throughout every department of your life because it works. It works if you work it as you think you are. Think of it, lovely and of good report all around you, because it is, if that's what you're looking for, because what you're looking for is looking for you. It's a vibration. Your spoken word is a vibration. And it'll go out vibrating through the whole universe. It has to, until it finds a like vibration. And then you experience it. Attitude awareness and imaginational control is for your benefit. Make it so.
Absolutely. And I know some of you are going to say, well, Lindell, DeCarlo, but you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know my loss of a job. You don't know my marital or my relationship experience. You don't know what I'm going through with my children. You don't know what I'm going through in my old age, my young age. You don't know what I'm going through. But creators, what you have to understand, what we're saying, in spite of all of that, you choose this day how you perceive what it is that you're going through. If we understand, if we're happy, if we're sad, it's truly a matter of thinking. Thinking makes it so. We shift that thinking even slightly. Watch a movie that makes us smile. Listen to a song that makes us smile. If you're in a depressed mood, don't listen to music that's going to take you deeper into depression. Lindell said that he had 3 or 4 things that he had up on his counter that he listened to, and he knew with each one of those things what mood it would put him in. You have to have things in your life that can immediately begin to shift your mood. You have to be the orchestrator of your moods. Don't let outside world determine that for you.
As you think you are, there it is. And you see, the thing of it is, those beautiful one-liners jump out at you and charge you for a moment. But you see, it has a charge that'll last you a lifetime if you open it and quicken it. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, you teach him how to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. And this is about learning to be a fisher of men. because that's the hard ones to find, the fishers of men.